Hey folks, welcome to another episode of the Gang Stalking Show. This is going to be very brief. I didn't plan on doing any more shows for today, but I got through reading a comment after a video that I posted today that's, turned up some comments, and the person who wrote the comment reaffirmed that the prevailing thought that all of us have, that once you're in this program, you're in it for life. And I never thought about it like this, but I'm going to offer you a little glimpse of hope. And the glimpse of hope it goes like this. The targeting that we know and we've experienced, all the harassment, the noise campaigns, the slander campaigns, workplace mobbing, street theater, gaslighting, all these different various forms of harassment, computer hacking our phones, sending us all kinds of bizarre crap through our emails. Though today's emails that I get, I don't get the ones that I got back like in 2005, 2006, where I got these bizarre, cryptic type emails, which were just very bizarre. And it was spam, but my spam folder catches that nowadays, and so a lot of us, we don't get what we used to get. Here is a glimmer of hope. The hope goes like this. The program that we know is based primarily on the Stasi program that they had in East Germany. This program began shortly after World War II, when East Germany put up the Berlin Wall to keep citizens in and keep people from getting out of East Germany. Then they began their, psychological experimentations of harassing people and whatnot. And they found that it was way better to destroy someone's psyche and drive them insane than it was to lock up every person suspected of being a whistleblower or a dissident or someone who was opposed to the Marxist East German regime. If you locked everybody up that didn't like Marxism, you wouldn't have anybody as a citizen anymore. And East Germany, it was once speculated that 1 in every 3 East German citizens was an informant. You could call them a perp, though not everybody in East Germany perped everybody else. It just simply meant you was an informant. When the Stasi had you under investigation, they may have your neighbor, your spouse, your daughter, your son, your husband, whatever, your coworker, your friends. These people may inform on you and snitch on you. And that was a bad thing. That didn't mean they perped them. That didn't mean they was involved in their harassment, because there's a twist now in America and all around the world that's been spun on this. There's been more developments in psychology and how people react and various different things with psychology that they've been able to expound upon with targeting. But here's the deal. This program began shortly after the Berlin Wall went up, and guess what? It ended when it came down. I don't remember the exact year. I think it was 1987 or 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down. But I do know from research and reading about this that when the Berlin Wall came down, targeting stopped. And all the Stasi files on all the informants, all the people who snitched on other people, and all the people who were targets, everybody had a file, and it's preserved in a museum in East Germany right now. And if you wanted to go to East Germany and go check that museum out, it would be a place to go. And if I ever have some money one of these days, I plan on going to that museum and checking it out, because there's a lot about this program that I still don't know. And there's a lot that I could learn if I only knew how to speak German and read the German language. I could, instead of Google everything in English, which is not going to come back, I could Google things in German and read, all the publications on the Stasi files, how they treated, targeted individuals, how they harassed them, the various methods they used. And I'm sure that there's a lot of information that is written in German that has not been passed on to us Americans. But once again, our prevailing thought is once you become a targeted individual, you're a targeted individual for life. However, hold on to the hope that you're not going to be a targeted individual for life, because here's the deal. The East Germans, the Berlin Wall went up, they became targeted individuals, the Berlin Wall came down, and that ended their targeting. We too, one of these days, may have our Berlin Wall. When that wall comes down, our targeting may end. So don't hold on to the speculations that we're going to be targeted individuals for life. Right now, that's the prevailing thought, that we will be. And I'm sure that those in the deep crevices of government who are, dispatching this program and all the other factors that are involved in targeting us, one of these days they may get exposed like the Stasi did. And pray for that day to happen. I mean, I do. I pray about that. So pray that that may happen, and I'm sure it will happen, because this can't go on forever, people. It just simply cannot go on. And a reason I say that, I wasn't anticipating doing a show, so I got a dip. The reason I say that is I got through reading a pretty in-depth article just a while ago. It was, I can't remember, I think it was in GQ magazine actually, online. And they were reporting about the CIA are now getting hit with some type of microwave technology. And I read the whole thing, and it wasn't putting voices in people's heads. This type of microwave technology is being used by the Russians. It is thought being used by the Russians, and the Russians are doing it to everybody, not just the Cuban diplomats, the Chinese diplomats, emissaries, and all these other people. Now it's spy versus spy. And according to this article, that it was an understanding, a gentleman's agreement between all the intelligence agencies throughout the world that, yeah, we spy on each other, but we shouldn't be harming each other, because we all know that we do this. So let's don't harm each other. Let's just do our jobs and, whatever. So I read that, and the guy's talking about how he's been hit, how some of his other colleagues have been hit, and these are high-ranking officials in the CIA. And they're talking about the problems they're having, like these painful migraines that won't go away, narcotics won't touch it, other medications won't touch it, and they're complaining back to the CIA going, why don't you do something about this? Why can't I get medical treatment? And these guys are even, saying, I want to go to Walter Reed Army Hospital, Medical Army Hospital, and I want to go get treatment, and they're being denied treatment. And I know all of us have this, I don't know how to say this, have this ongoing feeling that everybody knows about this V2K technology, and all the governments are in on it, yada, yada, yada. But what they're experiencing is not V2K. It's probably some other type of microwave weapon. And here's the deal. If top-ranking CIA officials are getting hit with this out in the field, even when they're vacationing or at home, this is going to open up a Pandora's box at some point in time, and that will lead a bread trail to our plight, our problem, because there are people in the CIA that knows about what's going on with targeted individuals, and I really, really, really doubt that the CIA is involved in our targeting. I more or less think that it's the NSA, based on what Snowden has had to say and other publications out there referring to the NSA with all their secret surveillance and all their technologies and their spying. I really think that it's primarily the NSA, but there's other intelligence agencies within our military and NSA and other branches of the government that probably has the V2K R&M thing. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just speculating because nobody really knows. But the gist of it is that when I read this long article, it took about 30 minutes to read, I got the feeling that these guys feel just like us. Nobody's listening to us. Nobody cares. I'm talking to people, and people are like, don't know what to tell you. No, you can't go to Walter Reed. Just deal with it. And they're basically describing this as the Havana syndrome, which happened to U.S. and Canadian diplomats down in Cuba back in 2017. But, like I said, now it's happening to CIA operatives and not just, diplomats and emissaries and all these other people. It's happening more and more frequently, and they're using a different type of technology. They're not sending sound into their head like music or talking to them or down talking to them or listening to their sub-vocalizations, which they could be, and you wouldn't know that if it was listening to you, but you would know it if somebody put something in your head. But these guys are complaining about nausea, migraines, terrible headaches, vertigo, just all sorts of problems. Some people even have nosebleeds and vomit blood and some other medical issues going on. But the point of this is that I'm trying to explain to you, with the CIA now complaining, and this article was published October of this year. I just thought it was U.S. Cuban diplomats, but now it's gone further, and it just seems like, according to the person who wrote this article, that the Russians are doing this, and they've taken the gloves off, and they're really frustrated about this because the CIA can't do it back to them unless they have authorization, and nobody's given them authorization to do this. But according to them, it's some unknown technology that they're not even aware of. But it is known that the Russians have been radiating, microwaving people that come to Russia who are thought of as spies, even government officials. Richard Nixon, when he went to Moscow in the 70s, he had all types of complaints with his mood and whatnot. And it was found out that they were microwaving Nixon, and they were causing Nixon to have psychological problems. So with all this said, like I said, the Berlin Wall went up, targeting began, the Berlin Wall came down, and targeting ended. One of these days, people, one of these days, our Berlin Wall will come down. You guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.